there, my name is Charlotte and welcome to the Oxbridge Formula. Today we have with us Emily, who is a second year French and philosophy student at Somerville College, Oxford. Emily, thank you for being with us today.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's very exciting.
So before we start the interview, I just want to remind you that here at the Oxbridge Formula, we offer a variety of in-depth online and interactive courses to best prepare you for Oxford's admissions tests and interviews. For more information on our website, you can find online video solutions and extended holiday courses. The link will be in the description below. Today, we're going to be delving into what college life is at Oxford and asking all the questions you might have yourself when trying to pick a college. So, Emily, you're at Somerville now, but please cast your mind back to the interview stage, the application. What was important to you when trying to choose a college?
I feel like there was many different factors. There's like so many that you have to kind of think about, and they all just kind of had the weirdest names. So looking at them on a list, you kind of think, how on earth am I going to make this decision? So it was really helpful to visit them on like an open day, just kind of walk around, also make some notes about what each one was like. I think the most important things for me was kind of general vibe is a great thing. Just when you walk in, do you feel like you're welcomed? Do the students there feel friendly and welcoming? Somerville for me was like my favorite choice because you're allowed to walk on the grass. That is like one of the best things, where you can just sit on the grass and have picnics in summer. And also, obviously, the kind of services and like the cost of meals there. Do they have accommodation for all the years, which Somerville does? So, yeah, those kind of things were really important. Also, obviously, do they do your subjects? And that's a nice starting point. And things like meeting the tutors for your subject can be really helpful, and to kind of get to know their specialities better. Obviously, there's like no guarantee which tutors you're going to have when you get there, but like I know the French tutors at my college were like interested in contemporary culture, which was like my favorite part, so that kind of really drew me to it as well. But yeah, nice. So many things.
No, you are one of the most prepared people I know going into choosing an Oxford college. Do you want to talk the people through your system a little bit and how you prepared for that choice?
Yeah, so I think because it was such like a broad decision, so many choices to make, I was like, and I'm a very indecisive person, so I had to like break it down for myself and take it in steps. So like besides the one visit, I browsed the student room have a really good website with like lists of pros and cons of all the colleges, which is like added to and updated by students. So I had a quick look at that like before visiting, so I could make notes of which ones sounded like the kind of ones I would like from the kind of pros and cons. And then so that really helped then when I did go and visit, I could really like focus my energies on like these 2 or 3 that I think I actually quite like the sound of. Besides that, not a lot, but yeah, I think that those kind of pros and cons lists really helped, especially alongside visiting them.
Absolutely. And do you think Somerville met your expectations after all this research? Was it what you imagined it would be?
I can't really remember what the pros and cons were listed for it, actually. I should probably go and check now and add my own. But definitely all colleges will kind of claim to be really welcoming and friendly, and like obviously all of them are when you get there. But I think Somerville was kind of the most fitting welcome vibes for me, and that it wasn't like overly exuberant and excited. It was like quite down to earth. I think it was really down to earth. And yeah, so I think it did meet with my expectations on that front. Obviously, it's always a bit different when you see it in real life than when you're just hearing things about it. But yeah, no, I think it did meet my expectations in a good way.
Absolutely. Oh, fantastic. So you say it was quite a chill arrival at Somerville. Can you tell us a bit about what your Freshers' Week was like there? Where was that chill?
Yeah, cast my mind back. Wow. So yeah, it was very well organized. They had like a freshers team, freshers committee kind of running the week. I remember like arriving at the front door. I was like one of the first people to arrive, along with others. So I was like stood outside the front, having a little chat with people, get to know them. And then, went and got like a handy freshers pack with a map, some useful bits and bobs, and like Somerville merch, like a free pen and stuff like that. And then went and like set up my room with my parents, and that was really nice to see like the people who were living around me on the same floor, because they became like my closest friends at uni. I'd say like my accommodation people. And then obviously there were a few nights out, a bit of that. I think that was when I drank the most in my time at uni, definitely in Freshers Week. It was also really nice meeting my college family, my college parents. We had like a nice dinner with them. And yeah, there were so many events planned. I obviously didn't manage to make it to all of them, but there was like a pizza party in college. There was some kind of wider university events as well. It was, yeah, a bit of a whirlwind. I can't remember all the ins and outs, but like, yeah.
No, that was, you know, with all the drinking that occurs, that was a fantastic effort. Great recollection.
Thank you. Yes.
You mentioned you met your college family in Freshers Week. That's exciting. Do you mind explaining a bit just about the college family system? Maybe give us a quick rundown of what your family looks like at the moment.
Yeah. So the college family, so it's like they'll assign you with college parents. When you're at Oxford, you kind of college propose to someone or have a little college marriage just arranged with a friend or someone you know. To get college married. It's not very official. It's all a bit like jokey, and you kind of don't even really have to know your college spouse that much. You can be very, very complacent parents to your kids, or very, very involved in their life. Up to you. But so yeah, and then like about a month or so before I arrived at uni, I'd say, we kind of got emailed the details of our college parents, got sent like a little online letter from them with a picture of them and a little explanation about their time at uni so far, which is really nice to kind of feel you kind of got contacts there already. You like know a bit what it's going to be like before you settle in. So my college parents, so I had one who does English and one who does PPE, so philosophy, politics and economics. So only a small overlap. Subject-wise, they normally try and match you up with someone who kind of does the same subject, but French and philosophy is a bit rare. So, but still, it was nice to talk to my college dad about philosophy, the philosophy part of the course in particular, kind of get notes on like what the tutors are like, and you know they'll sometimes offer to send their essays for you to like have a little look at and stuff. But yeah, I mean, since Freshers Week, I haven't seen much of my college parents, but I think easing into uni, it was a really good way to get to know the college a bit better.
Absolutely. And how committed of a parent are you? What are your children like, your little precious?
So yeah, I got college married to my closest friend at uni, this girl called Ellie who does maths, kind of in first term at uni. We had a nice little college proposal involving a treasure hunt. It was very exciting. And then, so yeah, this year we got given 3 children, 2 who do maths. So Ellie kind of took good care of them and gave them wisdom about the maths tutors. And then also someone who does French. So yeah, I've given lots of good advice. We went for a nice little college family meal to the Bella Italia in Freshers Week, get to know them a bit. We've done like a pizza takeaway with them. We're kind of letting them, you know, find their own feet. They're very competent people. They're settled in very, very well, but we've always been there like if they have questions or yeah.
Yeah, competent. That is truly a mother's love shining through right there.
Yes.
Nice. So earlier you mentioned, you know, you were moving in, you had your parents around to your room. And so do all the freshers live together in Somerville? Is it a community they build you there?
Yeah, so in Somerville, there's usually freshers are kind of split across 3 of our accommodation blocks. So it kind of changes a little bit every year, but there's this one called Vaughan, which is the one that I stayed in. That's every year it's entirely freshers. So that's about 20 people on each floor, 60 people overall, entirely freshers. So that was a really nice kind of environment where, you know, there wasn't people doing their final exams, and so you could kind of make a bit of noise. That was fine. But yeah, everyone kind of came to know each other across floors and across that whole building, which was a really nice community. And even with the other buildings as well, where freshers were placed, they had like their whole floor would be freshers. So it's a strong community, but then they could also kind of mix with other years more in like societies and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. And like, what was your accommodation like in first and second year? Did you have a kitchen? Were you sharing? You sharing a bathroom?
So my accommodation in first year, Vaughan. It's a big, ugly concrete block. It's not the prettiest looking, but we always say if you
reputation in Oxford.
Yeah, it's not the nicest. But it's also like a grade 1 listed building or something, so they can't tear it down. Oh well, just Oxford things. But yeah, so we always joke about if you're living inside it, then you don't have to look at it. So that was a perk. We actually had a lovely view of the grass of college. It was lovely. As for like the actual room, so we were sharing. We shared 2 bathrooms on each floor, so that's like 1 bathroom for 10 people. But each bathroom has like two toilets, 2 cubicles, and 2 showers. So I never had any issues.
Sorry, you just come out for a second there, Emily. Could you just say that bit about the bathrooms again?
Yeah, so I was sharing a bathroom with about 10 people on my floor, but that had 2 toilets and cubicles and 2 showers. There was also like a shower bath combo on the middle floor in case you're feeling fancy. But yeah, so I never had to wait at all for those facilities. We also had 2 mini kitchens on either floor, on each floor, which had like a microwave, a little cooking stove, a little fridge. They weren't like massively decked out, but they were definitely enough for first year cooking. And because it's like also semi-catered, you can go to hall and have food whenever you want. So it's it does the job for filling up the other days when you want to cook a bowl of pasta or a fancier meal. People did, all sorts, some roast dinners and stir fries in them.
Did you make good use of the kitchens? Were you cooking for yourself quite a lot?
I went to hall more often because I think it was quite a nice social thing, especially for first year. So this year, second year, I did a lot more of my own cooking, found my feet and actually looked at some recipes for once. I know. But it was also really nice to have the kitchens for things like pancake day. We all made some pancakes together and had a little production chain going. So yeah, even if I didn't make the most use of them for my daily meals, they were nice to be there. Yeah.
Nice. And that's so interesting that you say that hall, particularly in first year, was such a place to socialise, because we hear that from a lot of people at a lot of different colleges. That's really exciting. Tell me more about the Somerville Hall. What's on offer there? What are the menus like?
Yeah, so our hall, I love our hall at Somerville because we used to be an all-girls college, so we're not anymore, we haven't been for years, but it means all of the portraits in our hall are all of inspiring women who have run our college and alumni. So compared to some of the other colleges, that's also what really drew me to Somerville, was the fact our hall was filled with inspiring women. I love that. In terms of the food, so it's really good quality. They always have, so every day they have a kind of meat option and a vegetarian option, plus sides, jacket potatoes, soups, a dessert, it's all canteen style, help yourself buffet. And yeah, it's been really good. It's also pretty reasonably priced, I think, for kind of a lunch or dinner. You'd expect to pay kind of between £2.50, £4 if you get a dessert kind of range. So it works out quite well. Obviously, probably cheaper to cook for yourself when you can, but it's nice to have it made for you. And yeah, the food's always been really good quality. I tried vegetarianism and veganism as well at times at university, and it was always easy enough to eat like that in hall. And we also, for some reason, passed a motion, our JCR kind of school council but in college, passed a motion to have lasagna every week served in our hall. So for some reason we now have lasagna served every week with veggie options as well, veggie lasagna. So yeah.
Not bad. I mean, you can't beat that. Weekly lasagna.
The people spoke. So yeah.
And the people got what they wanted. Power to the people.
Yes.
So that's what everyday hall is like. Fantastic. How about formal halls at Somerville? How often do you guys have a formal hall?
So formal halls for us happen, they're once every 2 weeks, alternating on a Tuesday, then a Friday, then a Tuesday, then a Friday. And compared to other colleges, we don't wear our sub first, so we don't wear our gowns and whatever else.
Which do you not wear gowns at all?
Not for formals, no, we don't wear gowns. So that gives us the option to kind of dress up a bit more, I think. I'm not too sure what other colleges wear under their sub first, but I've heard it can be quite chill and you can even rock up in jeans. And so our formals are a bit, people wear suits for the guys, and then the girls wear cocktail dresses, long dresses, or a mix of anything really, but it's a bit more formal because of that. But yeah, so I've been to a few of them. They can be really fun. The food is like extra nice at a formal, honestly. The Somerville chefs are great. And yeah, so they're normally 3-course, and then every so often they do like a special 4-course one. And you're also allowed to bring a couple of guests to your formals as well. So it can be really nice to bring like your family, parents to come and try a formal. Show them the Somerville wine.
Yeah. Do you bring guests often? Are you big on inviting people into hall?
So I brought my family once in first year. My brother wasn't too impressed with the fancy food at a formal, and they're very optional. But my parents loved it. And I've also brought like a friend from another uni one time, and it's really good kind of introduction to Oxford life, I found, to show them that when showing them around the uni. So it's really nice.
Yeah. And how about these fancy like 4-course formals? What are they for?
I'm not really sure. They're just like, they're called special guest nights. They just decide every so often you can dress up a little bit fancier and have an extra course, because why not?
No, we love a random fancy event.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
No, what is the sort of social calendar at Somerville like? So maybe tell me a bit about the bops.
Yeah, so the bops at Somerville, we have like an entertainment team who organise bops, elected by people, the undergraduates, and so they organise bops, 3 bops in first term, 2 bops in second term, and 1 bop in third term. The idea being then you're free to revise and don't have to worry about the noise coming from our thing. So yeah, bops in Somerville, we have like a conference centre that by day hosts conference and by night hosts a lot of various levels of drunken students singing along to ABBA. We always have a nice a dress up theme. We've had has been like Disney ones, things like we had a meme bop, but that was really hard to dress up for. And every year as well, the first bop is S for Somerville, so everyone comes up dressed as something beginning with S. So yeah, they can be a lot of fun.
What have some of your past costumes been?
So the first time I arrived for the S for Somerville bop, I went as generic space / sparkles. I just wore all the sparkles, and I was very basic. And this year, me and my college wife went as Strictly Come Dancing. So wore a dress, got like a little 7 baton thing, and just went around everywhere like ballroom dancing. It was great.
That's incredible. Nice. And building on from, the termly bops, what is Somerville Ball like? Because you got in for one.
Yes, luckily. So Somerville Ball happens every 3 years. There was one last year. I'm very lucky doing a 4-year course. It means I get to go to 2 balls. It like aligned perfectly. So yeah, the one last year was honestly, it was like my favourite time in Oxford. It was really fun. So yeah, we all dressed up, and then they brought loads of things into college. We had like a massive Ferris wheel. We had loads of like street food trucks selling like donuts and pizzas and curries and everything. We had a silent disco in our college chapel. That was fun. We had like a mini golf like inside the conference centre. Honestly, there was so much. It was hard to like pack it all into the night. But yeah, that was really fun.
No, I bet. That sounds incredible. So Somerville Ball every 3 years. How's the pricing compared to other colleges? Do you know? Is it quite high end, sort of middle of the road?
Yeah, so our college balls, so the one I went to was I think £95 per person, which is good as far as balls come. Obviously, it's still massively expensive. They're all a lot. But yeah, I think for all the things I could do on the night, it was worth it. It was worth like saving up for that one big occasion. But yeah, that was really nice. I should have mentioned also, by the way, our formals are £11, which I think is also pretty good value compared to some of the other colleges for a 3-course meal. But yeah.
No, absolutely. Right. I just want to take us back for a second and start talking about, daily life in college. We'll leave the glitz and glamour of the ball behind. In fact, the library. But first, I just want to say that if you are enjoying this chat about student experience at Somerville and would like to learn more about what it's like being an Oxford student and how you can become one, we have a book out at the moment, The Oxbridge Formula, which offers prospective students an insight into the Oxford and Cambridge admissions processes, requirements, course content, anything you need to know. And the link will be in the description below. Right, Emily, we're getting serious. We're going academic.
The library. Ooh.
Here we go. Somerville Library, what's it like?
Yeah, well, I've got to think back. I haven't been in the library for ages, but
so I'm not a dedicated student. This is just June 2020 and it's Corona times.
Yes. Disclaimer. So our library is, personally, I love it as far as libraries go. So it's open 24/7, which is very handy for that like late night cram. Obviously not advised, but it happens. We also, this is honestly going to sound like I'm just like pushing Somerville way too much, but
please.
I love it. But yeah, so because we used to be an all-girls college, and way back in the past, all the girls who studied at Oxford weren't allowed into the main university libraries. They weren't allowed into the glamorous Radcam and everything to get their books, which means that we basically have copies of all the books that are available everywhere else because they needed to get their books somehow. They had to get it from Somerville. So whereas a lot of libraries are sometimes lacking, Somerville has like, I think one of the highest numbers of books in all the libraries. So I've like never had to order something from somewhere else or like wait for someone else to come off it because it's always been available, which is really good. It's quite a nice space. Like sometimes you struggle to find a seat in there because it can be quite busy, but that's probably mostly because I'm like, don't want to sit too close to other people, got to like keep a bit of distance. But yeah, no, it's a really nice space, especially it's got a little upstairs, which is like my favorite part of the library. It's very like old fashioned and nice to look at, but then the downstairs bit, it's nice and modern. So something for everyone.
There you go. For every taste, Somerville Library has you covered.
Yeah.
And if, say, there were no seats available and you wanted to go and use another university library, how is Somerville's location? Was it quite easy to get to places from there?
So Somerville is one of the further out of the city colleges. We're probably like a 5-minute walk from the city centre. So it's like far out in Oxford terms, but actually everything's quite compact.
Yeah, a 5-minute walk feels a lot longer when everything else is like round the corner.
Yeah, it feels a lot longer when you've woken up at 9 a.m. for a 9 a.m. lecture in the town centre. But yeah, True. You get there, you make it on time. So yeah, no, it's a good location for me, especially because we're right next to the philosophy faculty. So all my books are also like right next door, and the same goes for maths. So it's a very popular college for maths students because we're right next to the Maths Institute. They can roll out of bed, go to their lectures. So yeah, we're prime location for some subjects. Others, I think like English is a bit more of a trek, but yeah, like you make it, nothing very far apart in Oxford, and we're not as far out as some of the others like St Hilda's or LMH or St Hugh's. So yeah.
Oh, Emily coming in with the named shade on other colleges.
We love them. They're very pretty. They're just a walk away.
They're very pretty. Not that we'd ever bothered to go there. So nice. Well, that's great that, Somerville is so centrally located, especially for things like philosophy and for maths, of course, which I think many of the people listening now may be applying for maths sometime in the future. So that's really good to know. What about like sort of cafes and stuff in the vicinity of Somerville? Are you quite well stocked?
So Somerville is right close to the really cute area of Oxford called Jericho, which was, again, another reason why I chose Somerville was because walking around on the open day honestly felt like I was in like a street in Paris. It's got like little fairy lights hanging up all along the street, loads of like bistros and cafes, and yes, it's got like a Café Rouge there for like restaurant meals. There's a little Gales cafe just outside our gate. There's also a very handy located co-op just out the back, so we can nip out for some milk or bread at any point. But yeah, I love that area with its little fairy lights, and they sometimes host like little markets or little stores along that street as well, so it can be really, really nice. It's a bit further away from like the Tesco's, and obviously there's loads of great cafes and restaurants in central Oxford, which is a bit further of a walk, but not too far.
No, absolutely. Well, that sounds great. Something that's undeniable is your enthusiasm for Somerville. You just sound like you love it. Do you feel like you made the right choice of college for you?
Yes, I do. I feel like, yeah, it's definitely been good to me. It's proved to live up to everything they told me about it at open day, because, you know, it can sometimes seem like these kind of bold claims of like, we're the best, is a bit like, you know, they're all saying it and, you know, how true can it all be? And obviously I sound like I'm selling my soul to Somerville, but not spawned. Genuinely, yeah, I've loved it there. So.
But that's a great transition. If you did need to be spawned by Somerville a bit, what sort of financial grants and support is available in college? Do you feel like if you ever needed it, the college would be there to support you?
Yeah, so they have a few bursaries and grants available. I'm not sure exactly all the details of them, but I do know quite a few people who are on them and have managed to get them fairly easily. They also offer have some dinners and stuff for the people who are on these scholars and bursaries to kind of thank them and make them feel really welcome as well. They also have things like travel grants and special project grants. So if you're, you know, wanting to take on like an internship or go abroad for a bit related to your studies, then they'll happily give you that. They have like book grants, so they can reimburse you for some of your things. So it's been pretty good. They're not the richest college, but I think they're up there, so they are very generous in terms of giving things out where you apply for it. You kind of have to be active in looking for those specific grants, but the bursaries for loan and living fees, they're very generous with giving out.
Nice. Oh, that's great to hear. And how about like welfare support in college?
So yeah, we have 2 welfare officers who are like part of the JCR, elected by us, and they're always there for kind of, if you need to go to them for a chat, and they can obviously pass you on to like the bigger things beyond if you need anything else. We also have a team of like peer supporters who function in the same way pretty much. We have a college counsellor called Jo. She's lovely. I went to see her a little bit last year. She was lovely, really nice and friendly. I think everyone will have different experiences with it. Obviously, you know, sometimes you can vibe with your counsellor, sometimes you can't. But like if you don't get on with it and you find that's not your thing, there's also obviously the uni broader services that you can go to. And yeah, so I know people who've like tried both options and found different things worked for them. But yeah, the support is there, and then they can refer you on to other things if it's needed.
No, that's great. No, it sounds like there's some really wonderful systems in place, and it's great that they are in place and there for you when you need them. So we keep dropping in the JCR and you just moving away from it. So you yourself were a member of Somerville's JCR up until very recently.
I was, yes.
More about your time as a JCR member and what that experience was like.
Yeah, so the JCR committee, the Junior Common Room Committee, is basically like our school council, but university level. And so I kind of regularly went to the meetings in my first year. So they're every week, every Sunday at Somerville. We just head to our conference hall / bop room and sit around and have a discussion over some agenda points, things like introducing lasagna every week to the canteen, but also some more important things like, condemning certain actions or mandating people to go to people in college to kind of get things done. So I'm trying to think of some others. We did like a motion to make all our stash, all of our like hoodies and everything ethically sourced. We've done things like we often have like charity motions to kind of donate some charity things. But yeah, so I went to all the meetings regularly and then applied to be secretary of the JCR, which I did until the end of last term, which was just, a nice way to get involved. I had to type really quick and yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. What did you do in your role as secretary? What did that involve?
So I was in charge of basically sending a lot of emails and pestering people to send me motions and come to meetings.
Nice. What was your email sign off? Did you have like a personalised one by the end?
I just went with a thanks, Emily, but we also have a big sign off of Vil Love Kiss.
Nice.
So that's a common one used by our JCR president. So yeah, I compiled the agendas, and also during the meetings, I'd like type up what everyone was saying and compile it all into minutes and send it out so that if people couldn't make it, they knew what was going on.
Nice. And was that something you enjoyed? Did you have a good time on JCR committee?
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really nice to work with the other people of the JCR. It was very, very friendly, and it was a good experience as well of like typing up, and has led me to since like want to be secretary of the French Society for some reason, so even more typing, giving myself extra stuff to do, but it's all
you can't get enough of it. Exciting.
Yeah, as if I didn't do enough typing in my actual degree anyway, like.
I love it. Essay-based degree. Society secretary. Fantastic. Tell me more about the societies at Somerville. What's got quite a big presence on campus? Are there any like Somerville exclusive societies?
We kind of have Somerville variations of other things. So obviously Somerville various sports. I'm not a sporty person. I did Zumba. Zumba Society was very fun, just run by someone in college. We also, for some reason, are very big on alternative ice hockey, which is like ice hockey, but only waist down and a bit less tackling, from what I understand. I played once, but I didn't do very well. That is a big thing with very dedicated team. We also have good like netball and football and rugby who've gone on to do quite well. A recently established women's rugby who've like aced up and done amazing things. Yeah, and other non-sporty ones. We've recently had someone establish a knitting society, which is very wholesome. There's also LSD Society, which is not what it sounds, and is actually where people meet up to play logic and social deduction games, and accordingly, Board Game Society. So they are also very popular with a big weekly thing, which is again very popular amongst the kind of STEM students as well. So
incredible. And I would be amiss to not mention the biggest scam in Somerville, the Oxford University Bar Review.
Oh yeah, the bar review. So this was kind of a big part of my first year life was joining bar review on these things. So basically, bar review was set up by a Somervillian and someone from St Hilda's to go around to the different college bars, try out their college drinks, because most college bars have like established cocktails named after a like college thing, a college joke. So yeah, they'd kind of establish that, and then they'd write little reviews about each college bar, giving it a kind of rankings and yeah. So we found that was a really fun way in first year to kind of go around to all the different colleges and really explore them in a way that was also had the benefit of being able to drink a bit of alcohol as well. But yeah, this year has been raised some controversy because I was not a part of this, but some people got rowdy or had an argument with a bartender at one of the college bars, and they're no longer allowed to do it officially, at least. So they kind of operate in small circles, just going to the bars and quietly having a drink and appreciating the bar and writing a review. But yeah.
There you go. These stories of Oxford secret societies are true. Just Somerville students having a cocktail.
Yeah.
We would like to point out that although it was the Oxford University Bar Review, there was an awful dominance of Somerville students.
Well, yeah, we kind of all started, recommending it to our friends and built up quite a big Somerville group. I don't actually know who it was who did the thing that got it banned, but yeah.
Scandal. There you go. Nice. So I know you mentioned earlier that your bops are not held in the Somerville bar. Just now we're talking about bars. They're held in the conference room. Does Somerville have a bar? Surely.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So we have our Somerville bar, but it is a little bit more like cafe vibes. Like by night, obviously it kind of turns more into a bar. We've got like a pool table that is in the process of becoming free. We've got like TVs that show like sports events and stuff. But we also have some great like paninis on sale and toasties and brownies. And so it's kind of got cafe vibes by day. A lot of people go there to like finish their essay off. It's very used after we have a formal. Everyone will go there for like a drink before they go out, or just to kind of chill. And yeah, so they do really good like coffees as well for during the day. More cafe vibes, but by night, livens up a little bit.
Delightful. And do you have a college drink that people partake in?
Yeah, I think we have a few actually. We have the Somerville Sunset, which comes in both alcoholic and non-alcoholic versions. So, and we also have the Stone Cold Jane Austen, I think. But I have only tried the Somerville Sunset, but it was very nice. And yeah, non-alcoholic versions also available. So
yeah, how is the college at supporting like non-alcoholic events, particularly maybe during Freshers Week, where obviously the British drinking culture can come into full force in that moment? Be quite an overwhelming environment.
Yeah, definitely. So like obviously, as in any place, like there will be a lot of non-drinkers. And they try really hard to make a space available for them. So most of the events that are alcoholic kind of vibes, there's also non-alcoholic options available. Like, so even the bops, a lot of people who don't drink alcohol go to them and really enjoy them. And the same goes for kind of all the other things, really, like formals and balls and everything. And yeah, during Freshers Week, there was a lot of just kind of like wholesome pizza nights, film nights. We often have welfare teas as well every Sunday, where people get like free food that's very wholesome for bringing people together. That's kind of not alcoholic focused. So yeah, when everyone where they had kind of club nights in Freshers Week, they also had a group of people staying in college till the same amount of time, like still till 3 a.m, 4 a.m, but just having some biscuits instead and a cup of tea. So yeah,
that is a true commitment to the brew. That is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's bringing the other element of British drinking culture.
The most important part. Nice. Yes. So what you just mentioned now that you thought Somerville was really great at making space for people who weren't interested in drinking alcohol, just weren't invested in that lifestyle. How do you think Somerville does on the diversity front? Do you feel like the college community is quite inclusive? Do you think the college does a good job of supporting that?
Yeah, I'd say obviously like every single college can and should do better, which is kind of a big thing to say, that like as a university, like they can always be doing more. Somerville luckily is like on the more diverse end of the spectrum, I found, and from their stats and stuff, I don't know them off by heart, but they kind of, especially I think when it comes to kind of state school versus private school entrance. Like, so I come from a state school. It's kind of not really something anyone really knows about each other. We don't necessarily like, it's not the first thing when you meet someone, isn't they go, oh, I go to this school. What school did you go to? Like, it's not a big divide or anything. But at the same time, it can be a nice thing to kind of mention, and you always feel like there's someone in a similar situation to you. I also have a lot of friends who come from very different parts of the UK and also the world, have lots of northern friends who make fun of my accent and vice versa, obviously in a very friendly way. But then also, friends from across the world, Romania, Australia. So I mean, they can obviously do more and should do more, but I have found it is one of the more diverse colleges from my experience. But yeah.
Nice. Well, that's really great to hear. And it's really interesting you say that you yourself come from a state school, but you didn't feel like that was, that's had an influence on your time at Oxford. You still felt it was really inclusive and accepting, regardless, despite, the reputation I think a lot of colleges will have for perhaps not being as welcoming to state school students. Is there any advice you'd give, state school applicants watching this who maybe don't feel as confident in their application because they don't have the same sort of Oxbridge tradition as other schools?
I think obviously coming from a state school background, all these things like formal dinners and that kind of side of it can all seem quite intimidating. And even just like the look of Oxford, like the fancy buildings, it can be, not the kind of education place you're used to. You're used to, much smaller buildings and less fancy school dinners and stuff like that. Like it's completely understandable that it all seems a bit odd, and it certainly did to me as well, like when I came for some of my first visits. But I think like from the off I've realized that it kind of comes to seem much more normal very quickly, and also there's loads of aspects to it that are very familiar and that you will kind of find a place in, and yeah, it's not kind of, it certainly hasn't been for me all these stereotypes of, you know, just proper posh people like walking around. I mean, even my accent's pretty posh. I can't really talk about that. But,
yeah, this is full home counties right here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not the most representative of not poshers, but yeah, it's certainly been welcoming to me and all my friends. Like, yeah, we found it nice.
And, you know, just as we're reflecting on your experience, little you transitioning into big Oxford you, what do you think one of your favourite college moments has been of your time at Oxford so far?
Ooh, that is a hard one. As I say, I loved the ball. That was a really fun, like, get together of everyone in college. So I did love that. Smaller things, probably punting last term was really fun. Sitting in a boat. Would have been punting season now. I wish we could be there to basically drive into the riverbanks way too many times and get attacked by all the trees and flies, and also at the same time drink pims and eat strawberries. That was a vibe. And also just some of the bops as well have been my favourite memories. Things like just big TV nights, watching Eurovision together, getting everyone together, setting it up on TV, making bunting, and just, bringing people together for those kind of small things.
I mean, Emily, you are infamously a Eurovision fiend. What was Eurovision night like in college?
It was, I mean, I made it a big thing. That. But yeah, so it was really nice because I've actually found a lot of other people who are also big Eurovision fiends from my year and the year above. So we formed a little collective group, setting up bunting, making like little Eurovision trophies, and obviously decking out with snacks from all sorts of different European snacks, and crying a lot at the end of it. It was a very cathartic experience.
That is genuinely tragic. I'm so sorry. Nice. And so you are now, all things considered, off on your year abroad and will not be back in college for another full year.
Yes, I know. Weird times.
What are you most looking forward to when you come back? What will be the first thing you do when you re-emerge into Somerville?
Probably go for a Somerville brunch, honestly. If I arrive on the weekend, I am going to go straight to Hall for our pain au chocolats, fried eggs. I said that in the least French way. I'm very sorry. I'm disrespecting my own. Like waffles and syrup and everything, bacon, eggs. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go for a Somerville brunch.
That sounds like a full spread. Are you on it with the brunches? Are you there every week?
Heck yes. When I can, I am there. I am, yes. All of our friends just go en masse, get all of our brunch, try and like hide our hash browns under beans so that they don't charge us for the extra hash browns.
Sneaky. I mean, you just said that on the video now.
I know they're going to stop us, but yeah, had to impart this wisdom.
This is it, Oxford Hack 101, hide your hash browns. Very sneaky. How was it during one of your, I'm just going to call you out here, several vegetarian phases, having brunch in college? You didn't feel like you were missing out?
I'll have you know, it was one phase that lasted a long time. Veganism, that was just one phase. But yeah, I mean, it's worked very well. I was never like a big fan of all the bacon sausages and everything anyway. So it just means I get extra waffles and get to justify it. So
can't beat it. Now, just as we finish off, what do you think, for people who making their application have, a couple colleges, they've gotten down to the last few, Somerville is one of them, but they can't choose. What is one unique aspect of Somerville you think could really sell it to the people?
Well, I mean, obviously it depends what you're going to like. For me, that cinching factor was the fact you can walk on the grass. I'm pretty sure it is the only college, if not one of the very few, that is allowed. And honestly, it's been a life changer. We can sit on it, have picnics in summer. We can have alpacas come and visit us.
Yes, tell us about the welfare alpacas.
Honestly, welfare alpacas started last year, happened again this year. The best thing. I never knew I loved alpacas as much as I did until they came. They're just like fluffier, smaller versions of llamas, and it's amazing. So yeah, we all got many photos with alpacas that became our profile pictures for months afterwards. But yeah, that also is a Somerville highlight that has been up there for college memories. But yeah, and then also things like just playing sports on, and you know, frisbee on our college quad, like that's in Somerville for me. It may sound really minor, but I love it.
No, tell us more about that. Is there like a frisbee society, or did you just crack out your own and go?
Frisbee is just it's a small self-led initiative. There's also, people have tried to set up like croquet matches, which I haven't been as big on, but each to their own. Yeah, there's also some people who really like to just go on the quad and do some backflips. This one guy in college, very big on his parkour, just goes out and does some backflips. So, yeah.
Can't wait to see him scaling Vaughan. Catch that in Cherwell, Oxford's biggest student newspaper.
Yeah.
Incredible. And now, one final question for you. So you are obviously a Somerville devotee and could never give it up for the world. But if you had to choose one other college to go to, what would it be?
Oh, that's tricky. I feel like I don't have my pros and cons list to hand to decide. But
she's not got her spreadsheet here, everybody.
Yeah, probably. I think the ones that are up there for me, like Worcester and LMH, were really up there for me in terms of they're both very pretty colleges. I love a good like aesthetic, pretty vibe. Especially Worcester is gorgeous, and also again both seemed quite open, welcoming, and friendly to me on open day. Yeah.
Incredible. Well, I think that's all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for being with us, Emily, and chatting to us all about Somerville. It's been great.
Yes.
So if you would like to learn more about the Oxbridge formula, and the resources we have on offer, please check out our website, link in the description below. You can also check out our book, also linked in the description below, the Oxbridge formula again, and our blog for more content related to student life and experiences at Oxbridge. Find us on Facebook at the Oxbridge Formula and on Instagram at the Oxbridge Formula for more. Thank you.